Good morning, children. Today we will do Merchant of Venice. So you can take out your books. You can turn to page 90. Graciano and all his friends prepared for the masque, but they cancelled the masque because Bassanio has to set sail for Belmont immediately. Anyway, Lorenzo has decided to elope with Jessica, and Jessica is all ready with after taking her father's gold and money. So now we come to the person who makes a choice. The first person to make a choice is the Prince of Morocco. He's dark in color. He's got a dark complexion because he's from Africa. All the other suitors in Act 2, they don't make their choice at all. They just leave. That is Act 1, Scene 2, I think. They go without making their choice because they find it difficult to keep the promises, the three conditions which each one has to share. Now the text, page 90, Act 2, Scene 7. Belmont, a room in Portia's house. Flourish of cornets. This is something like a trumpet which is sounded when some noble person enters the stage. Enter Portia with the Prince of Morocco and their trains. Portia, go draw aside the curtains and discover the several caskets to this noble prince. Now make your choice. There is a curtain which covers these three caskets, and the curtains have to be drawn apart. Then only the caskets will be revealed. So Portia is asking her attendant to draw aside the curtain so that the Prince of Morocco can see the caskets and make his choice. Now there is inscription on the three caskets. The words are inscribed. Morocco reads the inscriptions and he makes comments or reasons why he should not or should choose the casket. Morocco, the first of gold who this inscription bears. The first is the golden casket. And the inscription on this, bears means the inscription on the golden casket. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. What all people, what all men want, what they desire is found in this casket. So the person who chooses that casket will get what all people desire. The second silver, the silver casket, which this promise carries, inscription on the second casket. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. As much as he deserves, he will get from this if he chooses this casket. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. So if as much as he is deserving, as much as he is entitled to get, he will get from this casket. The third is the lead casket. The third dull lead with warning all as blunt. A very plain, simple, ordinary warning. That warning refers to the inscription on the lead casket. Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. The one who chooses this casket has to risk everything. All that he has to risk everything. There is a risk in choosing this casket. How shall I know if I do choose the right? That question is put to Portia. Prince is asking Portia, how will I know if I am choosing the right casket? Portia, the one of them contains my picture, Prince. One casket, there is the picture of Portia. If you choose that, then I am yours withal. If you choose that casket, which contains my picture, then I belong to you. Not only I, but everything that I have, my house, my servants, my wealth, everything will belong to you. The condition is you must choose the casket which contains the picture of Portia. Morocco. Some God direct my judgment. I hope some God will help me to choose the right casket. Some God direct my judgment. Let me see. I will survey the inscription back again. First he read from gold, silver, lead. Now he is going to read it backwards. That is lead, silver and gold. I will survey means I will inspect, I will look over once again. The inscription, the words inscribed back again means once more. That is from the lead casket he is going to go to the silver and the gold. What says this leaden casket? What is the inscription on the lead casket? Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. The one who chooses this casket has to risk everything that belongs to him. Everything that he has to give away. Must give for what? For lead. Hazard for lead. Why should I risk everything for lead? Lead is a dull material. It is cheaper, much cheaper than gold and silver. So why should I risk everything for lead? This casket threatens. This casket is not promising anything. This casket is only giving me a warning. Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantage. People who risk everything that they have do it in the hope of getting a reward, of getting something back. That is known as ulterior motive. They will give something, but they expect something in return. So people who risk everything will expect something in return, will expect a reward. So that is not a noble mind which thinks like that. This casket threatens. Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantages. People who risk everything, they expect a reward. They are ready to risk everything, but in their mind they expect a reward. They expect something in return. A golden mind stoops not to shows of dross. A noble mind will not think like that, will not expect a reward, will not be so unworthy. A noble mind will not be unworthy, so low, mean, not to shows of dross. Mind stoops not to shows of dross. Shows of dross means such worthless things. They will not think like that. A person who is noble, has a noble mind, will not expect a reward in return. A golden mind stoops not to shows of dross. I'll then nor give, nor hazard aught for lead. Aught means anything. I will not give anything for the sake of lead. I will not risk anything for the sake of lead. What says the silver with her virgin hue? Virgin hue refers to the color silver. That is pure color. What says the silver with her virgin hue? Hue means color, shade. Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. That is the inscription on the silver casket. The person who chooses this will receive or as much as he is worthy of, as much as he deserves. Pause there, stop there, Morocco, and weigh thy value with an even hand. You judge yourself very fairly, very impartially, very correctly. Weigh thy value means, weigh means judge. Thyself, weigh thy value means you should judge yourself fairly, in a fair manner, impartially. And weigh thy value with an even hand. If thou beest rated by thy estimation, if you judge yourself correctly, if thou weighest rated. If thou beest rated means if you are judging yourself by thy estimation, that is, if you judge yourself correctly, thou dost deserve enough. You're a prince. You're of noble birth. You deserve enough. You deserve a lot of things. And yet, enough may not extend as far as to the lady. Then he thinks in his mind, he deserves a lot, but that lot may not include the lady Portia. Thou dost deserve enough, and yet enough may not include. Extend means include so far as to the lady. Prince of Morocco is thinking over to himself about what he deserves. And he thinks that he deserves very much. He deserves a lot. But again, he stops in his thinking and says, even if he deserves a lot, that may not include Portia, and yet may not extend so far as to the lady. He is assured of his worthiness. He knows that he deserves a lot. Then he thinks to himself that deserving may not include Portia. Thou dost deserve enough, and yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady, and yet to be afeard of my disabling. If I consider that I am not deserving of Portia, then I am underestimating myself. And yet to be afeard of my deserving. Afeard means not sure of what I deserve, of my deserving, of what I deserve. And yet to be afeard of my deserving were but a weak disabling of myself. I am underestimating myself. I am not judging myself correctly, properly, if I think that I do not deserve Portia. As much as I deserve, why, that's the lady. You certainly deserve Portia, because I do in birth deserve her. I am as noble. I am of a noble birth. I am a prince. So by birth I deserve Portia. I do in birth deserve her. And in fortunes, in wealth, the Prince of Morocco deserves Portia. He is as wealthy maybe as Portia. In birth, I do in birth deserve her. And in fortunes, in graces and in qualities of breeding, in behavior, in character, in education, all these things I am deserving of Portia. So he says, in graces, that is all the good qualities which I have, makes me deserving of Portia. And in qualities of breeding, I am brought up well, I have a good education. But more than this, apart from all these things, that is birth, wealth, character, education, apart from all this, more than all this, in love I do deserve her. I deserve Portia because I love her. That is what he is thinking to himself. What if I strayed no further? What if I choose the silver casket and do not move on to the gold, to the next casket? What if I strayed no further? What if I stopped here and made my choice of the silver casket, but choose here? Let me see once more the saying graved in gold. Saying is the inscription. So he wants to read once more what is inscribed on the casket of gold. Let me see once more this saying graved in gold. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. This casket says that you will get what all men are eager to get, what all men are longing to get. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. Why? That's the lady. That is Portia. Because people from all over the world have heard of her wealth and fame and beauty, and they are coming to win their hand in marriage. Why, that's the lady. All the world desires her. People all over the world are eager to win Portia. From the four corners of the earth they come. From east, west, north and south, from all over the world, people are coming to try and win Portia. From the four corners of the earth they come to kiss this shrine. Shrine refers to Portia and Belmont, where she is living. They want to pay their respects. They want to try their luck. They want to come to Belmont and try and win the hand of Portia. To kiss this shrine. This mortal breathing saint, only after you die, a person dies, you are canonized as a saint. A person who has led a very holy religious life sometimes will be canonized as a saint. But here the saint is living. Portia is such a holy, noble person and she is living. So here we have a saint in human form. This mortal breathing saint. The Hyrcanian deserts and the vasty wilds of wild Arabia are as thoroughfares. Thoroughfares means public roads, main roads. It is very dangerous and difficult to cross a desert because it is vast areas of sand where you get nothing, sometimes not even water. But here, crossing the desert is like going across a road, going along a road, because they are so eager to come and see Portia and try and win her. So the Hyrcanian deserts refers to a desert region in the south of the Caspian Sea. The Hyrcanian deserts and the vasty wilds of wild Arabia, the Arabian desert. People cross the Arabian desert and they feel that it is as easy as going along a public road, a main road, because of their eagerness to see and win Portia. The Hyrcanian deserts and the vasty wilds of wide Arabia are as thoroughfares now for princesses to come and view fair Portia. The watery kingdom, whose ambitious head spits in the face of heaven, is no bar. And watery kingdom refers to the ocean. And sometimes the waves of the ocean rise very high. Spits in the face of heaven refers to the high waves of the ocean. It rises so high as almost to touch the sky. The watery kingdom, whose ambitious head spits in the face of heaven, is no bar. It is not an obstacle. It does not prevent or stop the princesses from coming to see Portia. Crossing the ocean or taking a journey across the ocean to Belmont is just like crossing a brook, a small brook. That is because they have heard so much about Portia. She is so famous, she is so wealthy, she is so beautiful, and they are all very eager to come and see her and win her. The watery kingdom, whose ambitious head spits in the face of heaven, is no bar to stop the foreign spirits, but they come as over brook to see fair Portia. So with that we will stop this session and we will continue in the next class.